Etta, my heroine, has just been widowed. She's very scatty, and her husband thought she was absolutely hopeless, so he made all his money over to the children and the thing that they'd look after Etta. So they immediately took her away from her lovely Dorset house. They sold the house and to pay off estate duties, and they've moved her into a bungalow near them in Cotswolds so that she can babysit and look after their children for nothing. And so Etta, it's a lovely village, and Etta's quite excited to move into a lovely village, and here she's just arriving at the village. Etta arrived in Willowood on a warm October afternoon. Sunlight was breaking through shaggy grey clouds and lighting up yellowing willows and drifting blue spirals of bonfire. Ruthie and Hinton's pink and white roses obscured any view in her rear mirror, telling her she must look forward, not back. Her heart lifted at a large sign saying, "Go slow, racehorses," and another saying, "You are entering the little valley of the racehorse." As she drove past pretty grey gold cottages, Etta hoped they might house potential buddies. She wished she were better at bridge. Bridge and dogs were supposed to be the best way for widows to make friends. Her bungalow, Little Hollow, had been built at the bottom end of the village. As she dropped down a dark green tree tunnel, she was greeted by a frightful din of drilling and hammering, issuing from Badger's Court, the big house just on the right. As she turned left over the stream, Martin and Romy, her son and daughter-in-law, awaited her at the gate, smiling and waving, with Drummond and Poppy, their children, holding up a banner saying, "Welcome to Granny Dorset." "How kind," gasped Etta. Then her delight turned to horror as she caught sight of her bungalow. It had been clad in the most frightful marzipan yellow stone, without a single creeper or shrub to soften it. Even worse, where on previous visits her little kitchen, drawing room and even littler bedroom had looked out onto Badger's Court, its orchard and lovely park. A vast dark hedge of mature conifers had been newly planted, totally blocking out her view and casting her tiny little garden into shade. "These trees weren't there last time," said Etta faintly. "No," Martin laughed heartily. "Valent Edwards, who's bought the place, is having a relationship with Bonnie Richards, the actress, who's pathological about her privacy, so Valent doesn't want anyone looking in." "But what about my view and my light? Nothing will grow there," said Etta. Worse was to come. Crossing her bedroom to a second window, she was confronted by a cement mixer. Even Martin was looking sheepish that the rest of Etta's garden to the north, which led to a rough track up through the woods to her daughter and Martin's barns, had just been concreted over to provide parking space for his and Carrie's second cars. "With Berkshire weather, one must have a four-wheel drive," explained Martin. "We're a 5-car family now," said Romy roguishly, although she looked doubtfully at Etta's ancient white polo, green with moss and still coated with Bartlett the golden retriever's blonde hairs. "I'm not being picked up from school in that tip," grumbled little Drummond, sticking his tongue out at his grandmother and chucking Poppy's Barbie into the cement mixer. Etta took another horrified look at the mature conifers, asking over the hammering and drilling. Might, next door, Valent Edwards, might he thin out those trees? "Unlikely," said Martin. "Valent Edwards is a distinct addition to the village, not to mention Bonnie Richards. And you can still see your beloved horses across the valley from the kitchen window," teased Romy. "Even better when all the leaves come off the trees." "But I've only got that patch of shade under the conifers to put my new roses," said Etta. Suddenly the empty bungalow seemed claustrophobically crammed with bullying, square-faced Samson replicas. She must try to stand up to herself.